guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Hey guys, I'm back. It's Monday, November 26th, and it's 9:39 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, Q has not posted today, but I do have some things that I really want to bring you because they are critically important, and I think that you will think so as well. So let's get right into it. I want to get, I don't want this to be really long, but I do want to get to the most pertinent information. So let's get into it. Now, first I want to go here. If you've not seen this, definitely you will want to. And I would hope that you would spread it around too, because to all your liberal friends and family. All right. Now, this is called Pueblo Sin Fronteras, which roughly translates, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, any of you people that are bilingual, I think it means town without borders. Now, okay, so here's the website, and you're saying, yeah, so what? What is this? Well, International Day of Action, November 25, which was yesterday when they stormed the border, right? Okay, Migrant and Refugee Solidarity Coalition. Okay, Migrant and Refugee Solidarity Coalition endorsement, international call to action for the refugee caravan and Central American exodus. Okay, now let's go down. I'm not going to read all this and bore you all to tears, but let's go down to this right here because I think that you will be quite interested in this. It is their lists of demands. Now, please tell me when, if ever, someone seeking asylum because they are being mistreated or abused in their country, or the conditions are so intolerable that they must leave at the risk of their own safety and security. Now, please tell me who seeking asylum in the States comes with a list of demands. I would like to know that. I don't think any of them ever have. Are you kidding me? I would be so grateful if I was living in a place that I was at risk, safety, poverty, in any of those ways. I would be so grateful to the country that would take me in and give me a home. I wouldn't come there with a list of demands. I would be coming there kissing their feet, literally. And I mean that. And I am not above doing that. I would humble myself and do that. Because let me tell you, if someone's kind enough to give you sanctuary, then you should be grateful, shouldn't you? Not these people. They come waving their flags and throwing their stones and bottles and trying to cause as much chaos as possible because they are not truly asylum seekers. Now, let's listen to their demands. Respect for the right of asylum for all members of the Central American exodus. Oh, all members. Oh, even the MS-13, former ISIS fighters. Yeah, they should all be given entrance, yes. Stop the profiling and criminalization of refugees. We're not criminalizing refugees. Entering the border illegally is a crime. Lift the executive order limiting access to asylum. How about this? No. 2. Process all asylum claims made at ports of entry with expediency. Oh, hurry up. You're not doing it fast enough. We reject Custom and Border Protection's claims that ports of entry lack capacity to let in refugees. We also reject the shift away from decades of international asylum agreements that allow for requests to be made anywhere on the border. The U.S. government must publicly acknowledge A, its role in the Honduran coup in 2009, B, that the Honduran government is a U.S.-supported dictatorship, and C, recognize the political and social crisis throughout Central America as caused by U.S. foreign policy. Okay, so apparently they feel that they are owed this because we caused the situation there. Now, perhaps there's some truth in that. I don't know. I'd have to really dive into that. Maybe some of you people that have immigrated know and could educate us all below, because we do want to be educated, right? Now, I think the way they're going about it is completely false, and I reject that. But there could be some truth in there. I'd be willing to check it out to see. Call for international solidarity beyond the U.S. and Mexico, the United Nations and Red Cross. The United Nations and Red Cross. Boy, we love those organizations, don't we? Must also recognize the humanitarian crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. Well, I would disagree that there's a humanitarian crisis, because I've got some footage that was taken by a legal resident. Well, actually, he is an American citizen, but he was formerly a citizen of Mexico. He is completely bilingual, and he's from California, so he drove over, and actually the footage is very, very current. I think it was taken today. He's taken some footage of the caravan that, the mainstream media would not be showing us. So, yeah, no women and children there. No, highly, highly organized. So, yeah, if there is a humanitarian crisis at the border, which there isn't, that's all being fabricated. Yes, it is. Then it has been a caused humanitarian crisis and not an organic one. These people just didn't wake up one morning and say, you know what? I think that I'm just going to put my shoes on and get a backpack and pack a sandwich and trek, thousands of miles with my children. Of course, we didn't see any children. I didn't see any children when he was filming the caravan. But yeah, I doubt people just woke up one day and said, gee, you know what? This is just a good day for a several 1,000-mile trek. I think I'll just, leave my house, lock everything up and go. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. And thousands and thousands of people at the same time wake up and say, yeah, it does seem like a good day for a trek. I think I'll join you. Yeah, that's not how it happened. Each of those illegal immigrants, they're not asylum seekers, they're illegals. They're illegal. They want to enter the U.S. illegally. That is what they're doing. That is why they're throwing stones and bottles and trying to hurt police. Yeah, so anyway, we demand freedom for incarcerated migrants. Oh, are you kidding me? The incarcerated migrants are the ones that needed to be incarcerated. They were wanted. Oh, but they demand freedom for them. Well, let's just empty all the prisons. Let's let everybody out. Let's have a free-for-all. Yeah, so freedom for incarcerated migrants now, and free movement for asylum seekers. Oh, well, we want to be free. We want to go wherever we want. We don't want borders to apply to us. We are special. No incarceration of migrants in shelters or for-profit detention centers. Well, sorry, when you enter a country illegally, that's what happens. No impunity for governments that violate international asylum agreements and processes, prosecute officials who violate the human right to seek asylum in any country of their preference. So I guess I could just say, you know what, I don't want to live in Canada. It's intolerable. I hate Trudeau. And the things that are coming here in Canada, I'm against it, and I'm seeking asylum. I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll go to the border tomorrow and see if they'll let me in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won't. Yeah, even though I am a legal resident. Yeah, but unfortunately, because I crossed the border without seeking permission, I didn't have time. My brother was actually in a coma and was dying, and I took a plane. I didn't get there in time, but I crossed the border, and then I needed to care for my mom. She was elderly. She didn't take my brother's death well. So because I didn't seek what's called a parole document that allows you to be paroled back into the United States on the United States side, I'm having trouble getting back in. Yeah, but all these people, they're demanding their right. Yeah. Well, I wonder what would happen to me if I went to the border between US and Canada and started demanding my rights. Yeah, I know what would happen. I'm pretty sure. I have not been treated well by immigration in the States. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It's a horrible process, but it's a necessary process. So there you go. Anyway, and here it is in Spanish. So anyway, this is pueblossinfronteras.org. So if I can remember, I'll put it in the description. But this is pretty interesting, and I think you should share it with some of your more liberal friends and family and see what they think about it. They'll probably say, well, what's wrong with that? Yeah, they deserve it. Sure. All right, let's go back. Yeah. In case you're new to this channel, I am an immigrant. I'm legal. I've done everything legally, and this is a subject that gets under my skin faster than anything. So I'm sorry that I'm a little bit crusty, but that is why. Now, I was telling you about this young man. I don't know his age, but he is Mexican, but he's an American citizen, and he considers himself. I mean, he's obviously pro-America, and he wanted to go over and see what was happening for himself because he knew that the mainstream media was not reporting things properly, and he was correct. So this is very long, it's 3 hours, but I'm just going to play you just a couple clips from it so that you can see for yourself. Now, let me pause this. Here's the guy. And I think it is at around this mark. He's in a taxi right now. He's driven to the Mexican border. He has crossed on foot. He's now in a Mexican taxi. He's asked the Mexican taxi driver to take him to the sports arena where the caravan is being kept. So that is what he did. And in a minute here, he's going to get out and he's going to show us the caravan. So I want you to see that. Now he's walking around. All right, let me start playing it.
Just for yourselves, what is here? Are these men or are these women? Okay, are these asylum seekers or are they just opportunists? I'm just gonna go from the major area. I'm just gonna start showing you guys this. This is the whole thing. This guy's smoking a cigarette, so obviously he's not that poor. And they're just chilling out here. And these are not women and children. Okay?
They're not women and children. Look at all the professional vans. There's professional air-conditioned buses, like nice buses, not school buses, nice charter buses. Tons of them. You can see there's tents set up, and in a little bit you'll see them, all the men, and they are all men, lined up for food because they get fed. And somebody mentioned that they were getting like free dental work and all sorts of stuff. And I don't begrudge anyone any of that. I don't. That's great. That's wonderful. If somebody wants to help these people and any way they see fit, that's fine. Help them on that side of the border. No problem with that. Great. I think it's wonderful. But you know, when they try to cross illegally, I have a big problem with that. So let's go on here.
These are men. Okay, this is your next. Listen and share this now. This is what's gonna happen. Okay, to America. It's already happening in California.
I don't. Neither does
okay, this is the next wave. This is the next invasion. Okay, Univision said it wasn't an invasion. Okay, where are the women at? You show me the women. For every woman that they claim that there is, I'm showing you men. Okay, these are all men.
They're all young men.
These are all men. Okay. And guys, I'm not going to be commenting for a while because I'm just going to show you guys everything. Okay. These are men. This guy's even selling cigarettes. This this guy's selling cigarettes while they're waiting in line. Okay.
There's a couple of children, older children.
Okay. This is your next wave
But
of
most of
political
these are men.
activism. Okay.
There was one woman.
Okay. I'm gonna try and kind of get in line a little bit. I think this is where they're
Looks like an
serving food.
There's some
Okay.
There's some women and children there.
So at least they put the women up front though. The women are all up front.
So the
Okay,
women
so
are
they're the
all
ones
up
getting
front.
fed. And there are some children. I'll admit there are some children, but the vast majority of this is just. I don't know. I'm gonna walk in here. I guess this is a little bit of a.
And also, he mentioned that there's more caravans on the way, and that the Mexicans are getting mad because here are these people, and probably some of the Mexican people that are seeing this are struggling themselves. Not all. I know that there are very, very wealthy Mexicans, but I'm sure that some of them are poor themselves, and they're looking at these people and going, wait a minute, these people are doing something illegal, but everything's being given to them. They're being paid, they're being fed, they're being clothed, they're having a place to stay, sleep, they're being given everything they need, being given transportation, everything they need. And you know what? That would make me a little angry too.
¿Manda? Tiene que estar por el principal allá.
I think they have like a little tent area. I'm not gonna try and go in there though.
I'm going to skip ahead a bit.
If I go any further, that's the end of the beginning of the line. So there you go. Ice Poseidon made you build that wall. Look. If you guys haven't checked out #Fund the Wall on Facebook, it's a nonprofit working with.
Now, I'm going to take you, and he's talking about Fund the Wall on Facebook, #Fund the Wall on Facebook. I don't know. I hardly ever go to Facebook anymore, like once, maybe in a month, because, well, that's a whole other story. But anyway, now I want to skip ahead here because it's showing and it sounds like this person is from the UK, a journalist, interviewing one of these guys, and it's just interesting what's being said. Now, if I can find that, I'd like to show you that because it's quite, oh, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, wait, okay.
There's the federal government. Look at these houses. So what do you guys think? A tally.
Now it's gonna. He's gonna.
697 of you guys watching this, guys. If you pump up the likes, we'll get more people in this. The more people that stay on this live stream, the longer I'll stay on here. So hit that likes button, and I'll just probably collapse of walking around everywhere.
I have.
Because once again, I'm gonna give you guys a glimpse of the
in the hopes that he will be
caravan.
showing more.
We're at the Benito Juarez Sports Center where they're all getting free food, getting their teeth cleaned, and free medicine.
Free medicine.
This is it.
Teeth cleaned.
This is socialism reenacted.
Socialism reenacted.
We're gonna go see this media guy.
Okay, now he's going over to the media. He's going to translate in a minute for those of you that do not speak
presionados, ¿no? Está pasando. Pero en realidad, o sea, 100% lo que pasó ayer es culpa de los Estados Unidos, de sus políticas de no dejar personas entrar a solicitar asilo y pues también de las políticas que ellos tienen en el exterior y también en Centroamérica que causan esas situaciones de miseria.
So this guy is representing the caravan. Does this guy look like a migrant? Look at him. Does he look like he's disheveled? Look at him.
Correcto, yo creo que también eso no tiene
Put it together to me.
aquí en México que un gobierno extranjero estaba lanzando gases lacrimógenos a territorio mexicano. Llegó hasta la carretera atrás de Tijuana, la que está primero, que es una de las arterias más transitadas.
This is the new age of politics.
De la ciudad de Tijuana.
Hispanics infecting your politics, making excuses for rhetoric, making excuses for breaking the law, making excuses for destroying things, making excuses for anything. Yeah, look at him.
Y empezaron a caer los gases lacrimógenos. Yo tuve que entrar a donde estaban todos los gases a recoger una niña de 5 años y correr con ella cuando casi no podía.
He's talking about a little girl that got
gassed.
Gassed. But look, you've seen it. They're all men.
So anyway, I'm not going to play any more of this. Sorry that there was another reporter on this because this is like 3.5 hours that had a UK accent. So I, surmised that they were from the UK, but it wasn't this man. This man is representing the caravan. Look at that watch he has on. And rings, and yeah, he doesn't look like he's real poor to me. But there you go. So let's go back. Wanted to show you that because we're not being shown this. We are not being shown on the other side of Mexico. We're being shown pictures that are highly staged by the media, by the mainstream media, to pull at our heartstrings. Of course, there are minimal women and children there, but those are the pictures that they get, of course, because those are the pictures. Women and children, that's the money shot, right? That's the shot that's going to get you, the most tears, the most sympathy. So that's what they do. All right. Now, I'm about to make you happy again. Let's look at this. Well, let's hope I am. Come on. Not sure. My computer hates me. Really, it does. I don't know what I ever did to it, but all right. Now, emergency report. Signed executive orders reveal Trump is planning mass arrests, military tribunals for deep state traitors like Comey, Clinton, and Obama. Update. Now, this is from yesterday. No, actually, this is from Saturday. So, but very, very good information here. This is a national emergency special report. As the documents cited here clearly show President Trump is planning to carry out mass arrests of deep state traitors, including Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, James Comey, and even Barack Obama. This is fully covered with accompanying documentation from the U.S. Federal Register in the links and video below. This author is fully supportive of this effort to save America and arrest the traitors. The confirmation of Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court is the key to getting this done in a timely manner, which explains why the deranged left is going to such outrageous extremes to fabricate false allegations against Kavanaugh and stage coordinated, well-funded protests to try to block the U.S. Senate from confirming him. And of course, we know this took place in the past, but this is an article that has since been updated. So that is why some of it sounds like it's taking place in the past. Once Kavanaugh is on the court, it will add the necessary support for constitutional emergency powers that concentrate power in the executive branch of government currently headed by President Trump during times of war and national emergencies. Fact. The United States has been operating under a state of declared war since September 2001, following the 9/11 attacks. That's the truth. Fact. The United States has been operating under a declared national emergency signed by President Trump since December 20th, 2017. See proof, document below. In this detailed video analysis, I lay out, we're not going to play the video, I lay out the evidence for President Trump's plan to issue mass arrests of deep state traitors, then try them for treason under military tribunals. This is justified and lawful because the acts being committed against the United States of America by deep state traitors are acts of treason during a time of declared war. It is no coincidence that President Trump has deliberately funded the U.S. Pentagon with its most massive budgets ever conceived. This is because the Pentagon has agreed to run the military arrests of deep state traitors under the direction of the Commander-in-Chief, President Trump. Are you getting happy yet? You should be. Now, President Trump, I believe, has decided to go to bat for America and utterly destroy the anti-American deep state crime ring that has been working for years to destroy this nation and end its national sovereignty. This will be Trump's legacy. He may not even run for re-election after 2020, since his entire plan to arrest the traitors and restore the rule of law in America will require him to step aside once certain goals are accomplished. Now, note that in order to accomplish this, President Trump will need to declare temporary martial law. Now, we have been surmising this for a great amount of time. I mean, I've been suggesting that for quite a while, that that's going to happen, because I don't see how else it could be accomplished without declaring temporary martial law. Update. See clarification about martial law in the video appended to the end of the article. He will need our support during this time to maintain order and civility across the nation as the arrests and trials of deep state traitors are underway. We should all expect mass violence and chaos from the left, which is following rules for radicals, a blueprint for communist revolts and violent overthrow attempts of government. Now, see the documents for yourself. This is all posted on the U.S. Federal Register government website. Here are the links to the documents cited in this comprehensive video. Document 1, Executive Order 13818, signed December 20th, 2017, blocking the property, and we all know this, blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. And we all know about that executive order. We've discussed it several times because Q has brought it up. This document specifically describes the crimes of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, James Comey, and Robert Mueller under the corruption section, alluding to the Uranium One scandal and Obama's multi-billion-dollar money laundering operation that handed nuclear weapon capabilities to Iran. It says that the executive order targets any foreign person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General to be a current or former government official or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official who is responsible for, complicit in, or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of national resources or bribery. Well, I think pretty much all of that applies to them, don't you think? This describes precisely what Clinton, Comey, Mueller, Obama, Brennan, McCabe, and others carried out under the Obama regime. These are more than just felony federal crimes. They are acts of treason against the United States of America carried out during a time of declared war. Yeah. From that document, here is President Trump's declared national emergency. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. Yay! Document 2, Executive Order 13618, signed July 6, 2012 by President Obama. Don't you love it when the things that they've put in place come back to bite them in the hiney? Well, I kind of do. Maybe I have a strange sense of humor. Or maybe just an odd sense of justice. This executive order grants the president absolute control over all U.S. media, including internet tech giants, social media, news networks, and news websites. It specifically names communications that support continuity of government, federal, state, local, territorial, and tribal emergency preparedness and response communications, non-military executive branch communication systems, critical infrastructure protection networks, and non-military communication networks, particularly with respect to prioritization and restoration. Interesting. Document 3. Executive Order 13825, signed March 1st, 2018. 2018 amendments to the Manual for Court Martials, United States. Courts Martial United States. Although much more difficult to read, this document essentially establishes the preservation of the government's right to prosecute crimes of treason and deep state collusion against America, all of which may be prosecuted via military tribunals under existing U.S. law. Don't have to make new laws. This would allow deep state traitors to be arrested by military police and subjected to military trials run by the Pentagon, completely bypassing the corrupt court system. Are you happy yet? Really? Come on, get happy. This is all good stuff. Which has been deliberately stacked with complicit deep state traitors and resistance judges. Yes. So, to accomplish this, now, I am reading this because this is critical for us to understand. It's critical because we have to understand the times that we're living in and what is happening around us. And this is happening. This is happening. To accomplish this, President Trump must announce temporary martial law. For the record, I wholly support this effort to arrest and prosecute the thousands of deep state traitors who have become a cancer upon America. Were you aware that James Comey was a communist? Actually, no, I wasn't. John Brennan, of course, has remained a communist for his entire adult life, and Barack Obama was a radical Muslim who despised America and worked every day to undermine it through a variety of nefarious means, including allowing U.S. military encryption technology to be captured by Iran via the U.S. drone GPS spoofing incident. For starters, Barack Obama personally authorized the illegal Spygate, spying on Trump campaign officials. Barack Obama also allowed China to hack 21 million U.S. military personnel records, effectively dumping the entire U.S. Pentagon database into the hands of communist China. Thank you, Barack Obama. Thank you very much. For a full and detailed explanation of Obama's treasonous crimes against America, watch this extremely important video from real.video. It has been banned for YouTube for obvious reasons. Now, this is called Counterthink with Mike Adams. Did Obama get away with treason? Well, he committed treason. He has not gotten away with it. But this is from real.video. If you want to watch the video, I'm not going to play it here, but you're welcome to do so. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and John Brennan, Andrew McCabe, Loretta Lynch, Peter Strzok, and a long list of other traitors have been conspiring for years to destroy America from within and see it replaced with a communist regime run by authoritarian globalists. Tech giants like Apple, Google, and Facebook are all part of the plan, which is exactly why you see them, why you've seen every one of them working closely with China to roll out authoritarian techno-tyranny infrastructure systems that plan to enslave every citizen of the world, making them powerless and obedient to the global technocracy that runs the one world government. And we've all seen this. So, we come up with this. Trump's plan to rescue America from the globalists. And that is exactly what he's doing. In order to halt this global dictatorship and defend America against traitors who are working to destroy it, President Trump must carry out the following actions. 1. Achieve the release of the declassified, unredacted, deep state documents from within the FBI and DOJ that will reveal the full extent of deep state treason against America. The FBI and DOJ are currently stalling this effort, but as I told you yesterday, this has now been, Mueller has now called for the declassification, and so has Trump, so it is being declassified. Don't know when it's going to be dropped, but it is being declassified. So, number 1, we're all good with that. 2, the next thing that needs to happen is invoke the national security or national emergency powers, which are constitutionally granted to the executive branch of government. Technically, this already happened in 2017. 3, invoke President Obama's Executive Order 13618 and seize control of Google, Facebook, CNN, Washington Post, and the New York Times. Now, are you standing up and cheering? I would, but then you wouldn't be able to see me anymore. Yeah, so 4. Use all controlled communication channels to publicly declare the details of the crimes. I'm getting happier and happier as I'm reading this. I don't know about you, but I feel like I have something weird. Anyway, maybe I'm just weird. Use all controlled communications. Okay, so they're going to use those. They're going to seize control of them, and they're going to use them to broadcast the crimes. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. And all of us that have been banned or censored are going to stand up and cheer when Facebook and Google and all the rest are, and YouTube are, yeah, when their control is no longer theirs. All right. 5. Order military police to find and arrest thousands of deep state traitors. All right. Now, I'm not going to read because it's going to get really, really long if I keep reading every single thing. Number 6, issue an executive order demanding national voter ID for all future elections. No longer will America tolerate democracy being stolen by the votes of illegals who are granted voting rights by California and other complicit anti-American states or cities. 7, suspend elections during the military tribunal, but lay out a timeline for the restoration of elections and nationwide voting with voter ID in place to restore the rule of law and give America back to the American people. 8, deploy the U.S. military along the southern border. Use the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to build the wall. Well, we're seeing the military along the southern border, and they are building the wall. 9, promise to resign the presidency once the rule of law is restored in America, signaling to the American people that Trump plans to hand over power to the next elected president within a reasonable time period. Americans will rightly be concerned about martial law morphing into a military dictatorship. Trump needs to assure American people that his job is to destroy the deep state, restore the rule of law, then get out of the way and retire as the greatest U.S. president in history. The president who saved America from traitors and communists. And if he succeeds in that, and I pray he does, I foresee many, many statues made in his honor, schools named after him, airports, and everything else, libraries. Yeah, when the people really find out what he's been doing, if he is successful in this, and if this is all true, then that, my friends, will happen. The American people will not tolerate a permanent military dictatorship in America. No, they wouldn't. But they will tolerate temporary martial law needed to drain the swamp. And yes, that is true. During this time, by the way, the entire FBI likely needs to be disbanded and rebuilt from scratch. The agency's credibility has been utterly destroyed by the actions of James Comey, Peter Strzok, and others. So, now there's a lot more here that, well, I guess it's not that much. Let me see. Update. Further clarification about martial law powers and what's needed to save America. Earlier today, Alex Jones picked up this story and republished the article and videos at Infowars.com. This resulted in a huge audience seeing the video, which of course generated a flurry of comments and some criticism. The biggest question coming out of this was, do I support martial law under Trump? To answer this, I've posted an additional video explains how we are already under martial law, control of the deep state, and why Trump needs to assert his own executive powers to clean out the swamp. Okay, well, this is just more commentary on the very same thing, so I am going to go on because we've got more of this type of thing, and I want to get to it. So, now, I'm going to show you something. This is what piqued my interest, and I don't know, you probably are aware of GLP, the Godlike Productions, the forum. It's basically a conspiracy forum, but you know, in recent years, it's been mainly taken over by shills and very immature people that are probably very young. But there is, on occasion, very good information there, so I do check it on a daily basis. And I found this, which I copied here because I thought it was interesting, very interesting, and then we're going to go look at something that goes along with this. Now, can a president adjourn Congress? Yes, absolutely. The president can adjourn or convene one or both houses of Congress on extraordinary occasions at any time. Article 3, Section 3 of the Constitution, the legal basis of a presidential adjournment is granted to the president in Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, which says the president shall have the power on extraordinary occasions to convene both houses or either of them, and in a case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of the adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper, not to exceed the remaining time in the current session. The practical purpose of an adjournment is simple. The president can force a legal recess of the Senate to provide him a window to make a series of temporary recess appointments that have been blocked by the Senate for too long. Homeland Security Presidential Directive 5. What is an extraordinary occasion? The president must be aware of the optics for adjourning Congress. What would constitute an extraordinary occasion? How about the release of evidence showing corruption by Senate Democrats related to the FISA warrants, media leaks, and false accusations? How about threats of violence from the left-wing nutjobs and activists that are organizing in over 900 U.S. cities? How about having to call up the National Guard to maintain law and order during the midterm elections? How about D5? Executive Order 2018, amendments to the Manual for Courts Martials, United States. So, it's interesting to think about this, and this person is bringing this all to our attention, and let's go out and look at this because somebody has put together an infographic and done a very good job of it. So, let's go take a look. And it says Operation Kavanaugh, the battle for our Constitution. Now, I know that there is no hope of us ever reading this, so let's make it bigger. And that's as big as it gets, but let me see if I can make it bigger yet. So O1, or number 1, Q is directing the Kavanaugh movie. What is the obviously fake theatrics and false accusations during Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings are being directed by Q to showcase the absolute hypocrisy of the left while also drawing attention to failures in the separation of powers between branches of government. So, down here, it says, what is Q's endgame? Most people believe that the endgame is about getting Kavanaugh confirmed for Roe versus Wade and military tribunals. Those are two very real objectives, but the real endgame is more likely to awaken America about the need to get back our Constitution to enforce separation of powers in 6 broken areas of politics. State rights versus federal government. 2, executive, judicial, and legislative branches, corrupt media influence in politics, corrupt lobbying influence in politics. 5, corrupt legal maneuvering in politics, libel and slander laws that are ineffective. Now, and it says, oh yeah, never forget about 9/11. Q has asked us several times how to legally introduce evidence. Never forget 9/11, and never forget that Kavanaugh worked for President Bush during 9/11. Imagine how much evidence could be within those documents that Kavanaugh provided for the hearings. And we have this Q post from April 27th. Think logically. How do you introduce evidence into an investigation legally? Now, let's go to number 2. Mitch McConnell, Senate. What is a pro forma session? A pro forma session is when one or two members of the Senate get together for a few minutes on a single day to act like the Senate was in session that day. No actual business is conducted. McConnell runs the schedule. Article 1, Section 5, Constitution. The legal purpose, oops, what did I do there? Let's go back. I lost my, all right. This is important stuff. The legal purpose of each pro forma session is to meet the requirements of Article 1, Section 5 of the Constitution, which prohibits either chamber of Congress from adjourning for more than 3 consecutive days without the consent of the other chamber. The practical purpose of the pro forma session is to stop the president from making recess appointments to positions requiring Senate approval, like the Supreme Court, while the Senate is in recess. Pro forma sessions keep the Senate in a perpetual state of being in session, which blocks the president, I guess, from making those recess appointments. All right, now, this is driving me crazy. Control. Okay, let's go down here. Now, what is a recess appointment? A recess appointment is when the president makes a temporary appointment that would normally require advance Senate approval, but since the Senate is in recess, the president's allowed to offer a temporary commission. Any recess appointments by the president will last until the end of the next full annual session of the Senate, usually about a year. Then the Senate can finally vote to confirm or reject the temporary commission. Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, the legal basis of a recess appointment is granted to the president in Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which says the president shall have the power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions, which shall expire at the end of the next session. The practical purpose of a recess appointment is to allow the president to make temporary appointments when the Senate is in recess to keep them from constantly blocking his nominations. All right, now let's go to this. We're going somewhere. Obama's illegal recess appointments. On January 4th, 2012, Obama made several recess appointments, even though the Senate was in pro forma session. On January 6, 2012, Obama had his crooked DOJ issue an opinion that recess appointments were allowed during pro forma sessions, claiming that these type of sessions were not legitimate, and therefore Obama could make all the temporary recess appointments he wanted during those times, which contradicts the Constitution, of course. Now, NLRB versus Noel Canning, SCOTUS 9-0 on June 26, 2014, in a stunning 9-0 ruling against Obama, the Supreme Court ruled that Obama did not have the right to treat pro forma sessions as invalid, and therefore a president cannot make temporary recess appointments during pro forma sessions. The reason for this ruling was to keep the separation between the executive branch, judicial branch, and legislative branch in check. Sadly, all 5 of Obama's invalid commissions ended up getting converted to a full legitimate commission by the Senate at a later date. Why does this case matter? We're going to find out. The ruling by the Supreme Court was a unanimous 9-0 decision, which is fairly rare in its own right. I knew it would show up at some point. Hang on one second. Okay. However, the judicial branch felt strongly that the executive branch was overstepping its separation of powers, and as a result, it was overturned. More importantly, it made it impossible for a president to make a recess appointment until the Senate was truly in recess. Was this a reason to kill Antonin Scalia? Don't know. Maybe. Pro forma sessions are not a recess. The case allowed the Senate to continue its long-time practice of holding pro forma sessions on off days to ensure that a president would never have a window to make a recess appointment. As a result, a president would be forced to either get the Congress to agree to adjourn or force it to adjourn, although Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution rather through Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution. Excuse me for a moment. Don't know. It's a strange and troubling cough. All right, now, hang on here. Where did I go? I'm going to go out of this and back into it because I have screwed it up. So, hang on. Please be patient. Control. Here we are. Now, let's come down here. And we are on number 4. Now, can a president adjourn Congress? Yes, absolutely. The president can adjourn or convene one or both houses of Congress on extraordinary occasions at any time. Article 2, Section 3, Constitution. The legal basis of a president's adjournment is granted to the president in Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, which says the president shall have the power on extraordinary occasions to convene both houses or either of them, and in a case of disagreement between them with respect to the time adjournment, he may adjourn them both. He may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper, not to exceed the remaining time in the current session. The practical purpose of an adjournment is simple. The president can force a legal recess of the Senate to provide him a window to make a series of temporary recess appointments that have been blocked by the Senate for too long. We're going somewhere. Now, D5, hang on here, let me make this bigger. D5, hang on here. Homeland Security Presidential Directive 5. The purpose of this directive, which we issued on February 28, 2003, is to enhance the ability of the United States to manage domestic incidents by establishing a single comprehensive national incident management system. That is Directive 5. Is this D5? I don't know. I mean, I think it has many, many meanings, but this could be one of them. Homeland Security Presidential Directive 5. All right. What is an extraordinary occasion? The president must be aware of the optics, and we've already read this before, so we don't need to go on into that, but how about threats of violence from left-wing nutjobs and activists that are organizing over 900 U.S. cities? How about having to call up the National Guard to maintain law and order? So we've already got our reasoning for extraordinary occasion. So President Trump is able to do that. He has the ability through the Constitution to be able to do that. And 2018 amendments to the Manual for Court Martials, United States. And let's go over now. And it won't let me go over. Hang on. This is not the easiest thing to read. It is very, very tiny. I guess it's for people with extraordinary eyesight, which I do not have. And now we've lost it again. Sorry. There it is. Looking very, very tiny. All right, now, let's see. Sorry. I'm trying. It won't let me move it over, though. That's the problem. So we may not be able to really want you to be able to see this. What is needed to adjourn? It's not going to let me go over. And when I try, it's, man, I'm not liking this. Anybody have any? Okay, well, maybe if I really squint. Okay, what is needed to adjourn? Based on Article 2, Section 3, Trump would need a simple disagreement about the timing of any recess exceeding 3 days when the House Speaker, Paul Ryan, and the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, to step in and legally adjourn the Senate. And once the Senate is adjourned, Trump would be able to make all his recess appointments, including Supreme Court picks for any vacancies, and those temporary commissions would not expire until the end of 2019. Are you seeing where this is headed? Now, the final act of Paul Ryan, Q tells us in post 1483 that Paul Ryan has one final act to play before he retires. Maybe Ryan's final act will be to disagree on recess timing with McConnell for more than 3 days to provide Trump with the legal option of adjourning the Senate to get all his nominations temporarily approved before year end. Then again, the lower house is in charge of impeachment proceedings. Ryan may also call for a vote of impeachment on certain corrupt politicians that were shown to have conspired to frame Trump for Russian collusion. This may also include current Supreme Court justices and other officials. So when those are vacated, Trump is going to need to get people into those positions quickly, and this is the way to do it. Once they disagree on timing, on recess timing, he is allowed to make those picks and get them into place, and they're there for the year. So down here we've got this post by Q who says, why is Ryan still in office? Why is Ryan leaving office? Who controls Ryan? Best time for an adjournment? Excuse me. The 115th Congress session expires at the end of 2018. Any presidential adjournment between now and then to get around pro forma sessions would only be temporary, probably right before or after midterms, depending on optics. Remember, January 2019 is when military tribunals start based on March 1st, 2018 executive order. Okay, so he's saying that the best time for this is either right before or after the midterms. So we've had the midterms, so we don't know when this is going to happen, but I would bet it's going to. It's all about optics. The left knows that once Kavanaugh is confirmed, and he has been, that the Supreme Court will rule at least 5-4 in favor of military tribunals. They are in a panic. Remember Lindsey Graham asking all those questions of Kavanaugh about military law. That was why, and I can bet you that everyone in that room knew why he was questioning Kavanaugh. And I bet you they had to excuse themselves to go to the restroom immediately. Now, they are in a panic because they know their end is near. But remember, this is politics and optics are very important. That is why Q is directing this movie to ensure America sees their hypocrisy clearly. Q is letting the left be themselves. And when the truth comes out, they will be shattered forever. Red wave. Checkmate. All right. We're almost done here. Number 6. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. SCOTUS. Now, RGB spoke on September 13th, 2018, and while on stage, she could barely keep her head up. She looked incredibly weak, frail, and unable to perform her duties. A federal judge is only allowed to serve their commission during good behavior or until they retire or pass away. They can only be removed by impeachment for failure to have good behavior based on the Constitution. The left is focusing so much on Kavanaugh as the pussy slayer, they will be shocked when Ruth Bader Ginsburg retires to make room for a pro-life female nominee like Amy Coney Barrett. It will be hard to label her as a pussy slayer and even harder to block her confirmation if the timing of Ginsburg's retiring happens to fall on a recess of the Senate. Now, and this is from Anonymous, from an Anon. Think logically. Kavanaugh hearings don't make sense. Optics are horrible for Dems. almost as if someone is setting them up. Is Q forcing them to behave like idiots? July 2018, Feinstein gets Ford's letter. August 2018, Feinstein has a Chinese spy. September 2018, Feinstein introduces letter. October 2018, Feinstein outed for fake letter. November 2018, Feinstein resigns in shame. Feinstein has never been weaker, yet she is the face of the letter. The left is fantastic at framing people, yet they completely botched this one. Doesn't make any sense at all. Unless Q is using false flags on them, offering reduced sentences to play along, your job is to make people hate Dems. Your job is to make people want change. So Trump can fix a bigger problem. Separation of powers missing in DC. Separation of powers missing for states. 3 branches collude together illegally. Kavanaugh confirmation is a Q-op to reform separation of powers, to get libel and slander laws changed, to force Ryan to cause a Senate recess so Trump can issue a recess appointments. So Trump can issue recess appointments, to get all his judicial nominees confirmed before military tribunals start in 2019, ahead of schedule, under budget. Now, this is the most comprehensive map of what is going on that I've seen, and I believe it is accurate. Now, that is my opinion, of course, and do I know everything? No, not even close. That's why it takes all of us looking at this stuff, and I would really like to know what you guys think. Now, I haven't gotten into too much about the news because I really had it on my heart to get this stuff to you. I think it's really important, and it's really important to be able to understand what is happening right now. Now, there's one more thing I want to show you here that I clipped out of Twitter, and I like it because it just lays out what is going to be happening over the next several days and weeks. It says, so very busy. November 26, which is today, George Papadopoulos reports to jail. November 27th, Julian Assange hearing. December 3rd, James Comey testimony. December 4th, Jeffrey Epstein trial. December 4th, Loretta Lynch testimony. December 5th, John Huber testimony. December 18th, Michael Flynn sentencing. December 22, DHS report on voter fraud. So, if any of you doubt that anything is happening, then you need to doubt no more, because there is a lot happening, and everything that Q has been saying for a year is coming to an apex. It really, truly is. I do believe that we will have military tribunals in January. I think that everything is on schedule and going as planned. So this is all good news. And if you doubt that, or if you think otherwise, please let me know in the comments below. I welcome your opinions. I really do, even if they're contrary to mine. In fact, sometimes I welcome them more because I'm wrong. And I'm able to see through the comments that I'm wrong, and I appreciate that, because I don't want to be giving out false information any more than you want to be receiving it. I really want to try my very best to get it right. So anyway, that is it for this video, and I don't know if I'm going to come back and do a Q-related news tonight or not. This was more informational than news, but it was very important, I thought. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great night, and stay well, stay blessed, and stay healthy, and above all, stay safe. I'll see you guys soon.